Governor Pat McCrory met reporters Tuesday morning to outline his 2014 political agenda. It's a list of items, but the highlights include calling for more Medicaid reforms, faster action on energy exploration, and teacher pay increases.
We will get teacher raises done this year. We can't just put a Band-Aid on teacher pay raise. We will focus on newcomers to the profession and raise starting pay to attract people to the classroom. We need to think strategically and long-term, which includes taking a market-based approach that will reward our best teachers and those that are in demand.
The governor says he wants to increase the starting salary for school teachers and pay higher wages for hard-to-fill academic subjects.
Our plan will go beyond this short session to offer results, rewards, and respect for students, parents, and teachers.
Democratic House Leader Representative Larry Hall saw the press conference and says the governor's talking is one thing, backing it up with real legislation is another.
He was real short on specifics on how to get done what he talked about. So we're going to have to judge him on his actions. He cut $500 million from education, but now he says he's concerned about education. So once again, his actions will tell the story, not just those words from the press conference.
The governor hints his leadership team may look at breaking up the Department of Health and Human Services. He says, quote, it might be too big to succeed.
It's just amazing how much is on one organization's plate. In fact, I think that's one reason I think we've had 5 secretaries in 6 years.
Governor McCrory says state environmental officials will work closely to ensure energy exploration moves forward.
While we've had recent success in our economy, one thing that is going to really drive our recovery and renaissance in North Carolina is getting into the energy business. I said this when I ran in 2008. I said it again when I ran in 2012. We're 10 years behind in this effort, and we need to begin that process as soon as possible.
The governor's 2014 agenda isn't completely what you might call red meat issues that earned so many headlines last year. He's calling for the passage of the puppy mill bill to regulate dog breeders and proposes a state art initiative to beautify transportation infrastructure, like bridges. 2014 is a short session year where the legislature is expected to meet no more than 6 weeks, but it could meet as little as 3 if you happen to believe the Inside the Beltway chatter. Barry Smith, the Carolina Journal, was at the McCrory. Let's not call it State of the State, but what do you make of his agenda?
Well, I do think it is interesting that you mentioned it's not State of the State. No, it's not. The governor traditionally only gives that every couple of years. It's kind of almost like his in-between State of the State. And I actually thought he did a better job today addressing the press than he did at the State of the State. One thing, he did it on time. Last year he was early before the TV cameras came on. He was just addressing the press. There wasn't a lot of applause and that sort of stuff. Wasn't a lot of off the cuff. It was prepared remarks. I thought he gave a fairly upbeat tone, and which is interesting because he had a really rough first year as governor. I don't know of a governor in recent history that's had as rough of a first year as he's had.
To lay out that agenda, how much credence does it appear he's given to the legislative leaders who say they want to come in May and they want to be gone, if I hear correctly, by mid-June?
Well, I think they do want to be gone early, and I think the key to that is going to be having the legislation ready. Some of the legislation is already in the works. You know, he talked about, for example, his commerce program where, you know, he wants to address people, and that bill has already passed the House, so he's just got to work his way through the Senate. You know, he talked about, something that his wife wants to do, and that's get the puppy mill bill passed. That bill has already passed the House. Governor said he's going to be taking some senators to lunch to try to, get that through. So some of it, half of the legislative work has already been done, so he can get that done. It doesn't necessarily take a lot of time to get legislation through, particularly if some of the work's already been done on it.
The big topics. Puppy mill bill's nice, and reporters clued in on that, but teacher pay was thrown out there. Beginning teacher pay and hard to fill job teacher salary increases.
He wants to boost teacher pay. He did stop short of saying he wanted to raise it to the national average. That's been a big push since I think former Governor Jim Hunt has come out with op-eds in a lot of newspapers promoting that, and I don't know that necessarily it's something that the state of North Carolina is going to go to.
I'm glad you brought that up. I read that op-ed, and I've heard what Governor McCrory said, Democrat and Republican. It was, let's raise teacher pay, and the answer was, let's just do it. I didn't hear any policy details. Do you pay beginning teachers more? Do you leave some teachers out of a pay raise? How does it unfold? Will teachers get left behind even if they raise some teacher salaries?
Well, I think I would expect to see all teachers get a pay raise. I think what Governor McCrory is wanting to do, he says he doesn't want just a one-time fix. Just hell, let's raise it 3 to 5% and that's it. And teachers was really not, or state employees have not gotten very much of a raise. I think, a 1.2% maybe a couple of years ago since the Great Recession started. So when you talk about teachers getting a pay raise, you also need to bring in state employees getting a pay raise.
Do you
too.
need to politically, however? Now, and in full disclosure, I'm a state employee.
And my sister's a state employee.
So, can state employees not have the political clout this go around? The teachers get the pay raise and the others don't.
I would expect that teachers and state employees will get a pay raise. I don't know that it will necessarily be the same, but I think they would be hard pressed to do one and not the other.
What about teasing the breakup of DHHS? Too big to succeed.
He said it might be. The question is it too big to succeed? And then he detailed a number of different fires, so to speak, that the Department of Health and Human Services and Aldona Voss has had to put out. Some of them maybe literally, but maybe there are some things that need to be broken up. Maybe that needs to be some things moved to other departments, or that's something they'll look at.
And oil drilling and fracking out there for the natural gas. He wants even faster action on it. Do you see that? Do you see that usurping some of the recent legislative work that set those timetables?
I think the legislature wants to do a lot of that too. He wants to have, I think he said he wants to have permits going by about a year, by the spring of 2015.
That's what the law outlined. And Diener, the state environmental officials, are they there now to represent the people of North Carolina, or are they there to facilitate business and economic growth in North Carolina, or are they the same thing?
I think what the governor is trying to say is you don't have to choose. What I hear Secretary Scavarla saying is, we want to be customer friendly. We want again, we'll have to see how it plays out, but we just don't want to delay people getting things done. Sometimes a lot of the problems are in the delays.
Barry Smith, Carolina Journal, thanks as always for sharing your insight.
Thanks.